We're live.
Hi, welcome to Zealots of Zul, week number 13. I'm Cliff Dunn, your Dungeon Master, co-creator of ZealZaddy, and want to thank you and welcome you to our pre-Christmas week. Thank you for sticking with us. You know, the holidays are kind of a crazy time for everybody, and there's a lot of moving parts here. We have a lot of folks here that are committed to bringing you good quality entertainment and to having a good time ourselves. But you know, the holidays get a little crazy. So we had a great time last week, and we want to thank those great game companies that jumped in with us to help with the board games. And Scott, we had AEG was one of the groups, right?
Yeah, for Junta and Istanbul.
They published Junta, which is such a fun game we've been playing for decades, and we shined you guys, and we apologize, but we're gonna reschedule that one because that is one of my favorite games of all time. I just have to figure out a politically correct way to do an accent. I can't.
It's Junta.
I mean,
there's no politically
perfect.
Way.
All right,
it's a banana republic.
It's a banana republic, right? Because back in the day, it was. I mean, I'd bring my Che Guevara outfit. I mean, it was like this. But I love that game. It's such a. It was really the the soul of what beer and pretzels, you know, board gaming was back in the day.
Somebody knows we're all in green on this side. Like, is that like the red shirts and Star Trek?
Oh yeah, I see that. Right.
Maybe.
Oh, we didn't get a memo.
We're a pretty dark palette over here as well.
We got a gray sandwich, you know, between these two dark.
And somebody noticed the updated opening title, which was cool.
Nice.
With the color images on it.
Thank you. We appreciate that. And we want to thank a couple of. First, we want to thank the Adventure Gaming Store and Dragon's Lair here in Greater Fort Lauderdale, Davie, Florida. Please come down. They are our host every week, and we really appreciate the chance to game with some extraordinarily cool people. And there's always games galore going down here. So stop down if you're around and say hello to us. I also want to thank, just on a personal note, I turned 55 years old this week. And
happy birthday!
Thank you. As
you're not qualified for discounts.
I do, right? I know, that's right.
Discounts.
Just
And
got cheaper.
Ken St. Andre,
please?
let's see.
If you can only shame yourself into using the discount.
Right. So I've leveled up as Ken St. Andre, the game designer of Tunnels and Trolls. Yeah. So
is that a level up?
I think it is.
That's right.
Oh yeah. I
now
trust
he gets
me.
the complaint feed.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No. I have nothing to complain about. So anyway, but I want to thank everybody who's taken an interest in in our games, in Scott's campaign, the Crosscodes game, which is utilizing a very cool reimagining of the Dungeons and Dragons system through the lens of science fiction and and magical magical realism, and it's a really fun system. And of course, I'm tickled to death that a campaign that I was running decades ago has taken on new life with the greatest the greatest permutation of players that I have and characters, and I'm really touched and honored. And these stories that we're saying, please, no embarrassing displays of emotion. I told you to stop. And we're looking forward to telling new stories in the coming year. There's going to be great.
AARP of Zul.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. Those old bastards of Zul. So I'm really looking forward to the chance to share this, and also this is our first session where we are an affiliate of Twitch, and so we're grateful and honored that those of you that have been watching us streaming, please keep those cards and let us come and let us know how we can tell better stories. We are going to, once the new year starts, things are only going to really ramp up in terms of all the things that we've got going on, and it's our plan, hopefully before the end of the year, to add another game, on a regular basis, so
the end of next year, not the end of this year.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. We have a lot of work to do. No sleep. The end of the following year, 2020, the start of the reeling 20s.
Yeah.
So we will. So thanks very much. Thank you to each of you. Before we get started, I want everybody to introduce themselves, and then we will reestablish where we were last time we met.
Oh, you want to start with me this time?
Yes,
it feels like
right.
such a switch.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Hi, I'm Audupom Duar. I'm Alex. I play Audupom Duar on TV. I am the human monk from Gurdwara, who is having a little bit of a tough time right now, but we're gonna get through this together. There you go.
And by the way, sporting a very slick
Oh well,
hairstyle
thank
now.
you very much.
Wow.
Had to
I
change
hope
it up a
nothing
little bit.
happens to it. I hope it doesn't catch fire or anything.
Right?
Be
Oh
ashamed.
my God.
I'd be ashamed if something happened to your follicles before the night was out there. Right across.
Swear to God.
I'm not
Shame.
bitter.
Shame.
I work with what I have.
Hi, I'm Kyle Jablonski. I play Kepri. Right, he's been away, a busy little bee, getting ready for the expedition to the Quranian fort. So he's looking forward to that and hopes that the entire team has it caught on fire. Hopefully. Hey.
I don't think we
Accidents
should catch on
happen.
fire. I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Those green shirts are flame retardant or something retardant.
Hi, I'm Anna. I play Sabine. I am a bard / spy / a number of things.
We're still not sure.
Yeah.
Woman of mystery.
Yeah.
We're still figuring her out.
But she is starting to use her powers for good now.
Yes, a little bit. Who says the word for good before?
I
Nobody knows what I was
said
doing.
nothing.
We gotta get the corkboard out.
She's good. Yeah. You?
I'm Scott.
Tell us how you now.
Nice
I
deflection.
play
Yeah.
Segue.
Farzla Abdurrahmi. I am a mysterious Trancosi, which nobody knows what that is.
I don't.
barely know what it is. I'm a rogue in the city of Vadashar since I was very young. So I guess I'm almost native. Almost. You're a native, though.
Am I? I play Alice Rathick. I'm born and raised in Vadashar.
That's Atlas, right? Atlas, not Alice.
Atlas.
One of these days, Atlas.
Pow! To the moon!
Pow, to the pearl.
That's right. I play,
Totally AR PM Zul.
and I am the thief extraordinaire of Vadashar.
Extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Good tell. So just a quick rehash of where we were, and then we're going to take a very short break, literally for 1 minute, for a commercial and to pay some bills, and then we'll come back and we're going to jump in with a flashback. But the last time to bring you up to date, because it's been a little time since we sat together, as Kyle mentioned, his character Kepri, who hails from Kemet, which is a kingdom to the far, far south and west, and would roughly be analogous to ancient Egypt, but with a decidedly, at least to outsiders, a more mysterious and sinister cast to it. But again,
We're just big soft.
sinister just means left-sided.
Exactly.
So he has been planning for a short trip that's going to take him to meet his sister, who is coming to lead the first embassy, at least in several hundred years, from Kemet to Vadashar. And the rest of the Zealots are going to accompany him. In the meantime, Anupam has been recovering from his very
Beat down?
yeah. against a giant. So he actually has some bragging rights, but you're not the bragging sort. You know?
Yeah, I'm really not.
Your glass is half empty. Your flagon is half empty.
Yeah.
The glass is only half broken.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it may not be half empty, but he can agree that it's not full.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with the help of his friend Sabine, who is herself somewhat of a stranger in a strange land, or is she? He's coming to see the flagon as a little bit more full, and in the meantime, an old business associate of Arslan has approached him quite literally from the shadows with the possibility of a lucrative business opportunity which he and company could benefit from. And Atlas has also been brought through Atlas's own personal history with the city. He knows a little bit more about this, and what we're talking about is the treasure house. of the lictors. So we'll get to that in just a few. We're going to take a short break and come back. This is our first break, maybe, of Zealots, and we'll come back. Stay with us. We'll be back in just 1 minute. And we're back. Thank you very much. Attalus, son of Rathic, you find yourself late one evening making your way with your old friend Hashi Benjara from his establishment, the Oasis, which is a gaming hall, towards the Gilded Palm. This is after a night of gaming and drinking at his place at the Oasis. And make a perception roll.
First roll of the night.
I rolled a 16.
So you made okay. Where's the black Casbah? No, it's in there. Okay. Okay, so as you round the corner to go up the walkway to the Gilded Palm, which is Old Town's oldest and arguably best eatery, you see you just narrowly miss running into a well-dressed man who looks like he's either clumsy or possibly in his cups, because he missteps and his the heel of one of his boots gets caught. Looks like it steps on his cape and he loses his footing. Give me an athletics roll. Well, either athletics or acrobatics, whichever is probably acrobatics.
12?
Okay. You get a little splash of ale on. You've been on much, but he gets the worst of it, and he looks at you and make a history roll.
16.
And you recognize him. His name is Azil, or Lord Azil, although he's not much of a lord. But he is in the. You recognize him as being a minion of an old nemesis of yours, Count Hamar Hadrithus. Make another perception roll.
I was going to say, if the minion's close, the master can't be far.
Bad blood.
Yes. 14.
Okay, and you were perceptive enough. You're correct. You see Hamar with him, and this is a very powerful nobleman of the city-state and of the region. And you have a moment of recognition.
They were headed into the...
They were leaving as you were heading towards it, and apparently they both had a few to drink. And there's actually about a half a dozen of them together. You hear one of them mentioning the 100-year-old stew.
I tried to just Do I feel that he recognized me? It's been years. I'll try to.
You're gonna try to avert your okay. So make a, what would we call that? Make a deception roll.
13.
Okay. Well, this wouldn't be a deception. It would be more like actually we'll call it sleight of hand. You rolled a 13, what's your dice?
Well, sleight of hand. If it's sleight of hand, it's
15? Okay. You don't detect any. He doesn't give you any hint of recognition.
I'll just take notice of who's with him, who's with his party. Is his sister with him?
No.
Had a few too many to drink tonight? Tomorrow?
Rathic, is that you?
As I live and breathe.
I thought you knew better than to come out at night.
It's the best time to come out.
And the guy that you got, the guy who spilled his potable on himself, pulls his sword, and but Hamar holds him off and says, "No, there'll be no blood here. It isn't worth it."
It'd be wise because it'd be your blood and not mine.
I don't think so. Make an initiative roll.
You had to open your big mouth, didn't you?
Well. 16.
Okay. Well, he springs at you, but you have the initiative.
His henchman or
Yeah, his henchman.
with his weapon
Mhm.
coming at me. I'll sidestep him.
Okay. So you're going to attempt to.
To embarrass him.
You should spank him with the flat of your short sword.
On his passing.
Mm-hmm.
19. So what are you going to try to do?
Spank him with the flat of your sword.
I was going to try to use the my cunning action to disengage, but
Well, I mean, you can try that.
it would just step out of his
Okay.
step out of his range.
Out of his attack
Okay.
radius.
You do. He's clearly had the worst of it. I mean, glug glug glug.
As your master said, there's no need for bloodshed.
Here we go. Here we go.
You have the initiative. I mean, but you stepped out of the way, so he didn't. So he didn't. It just went into the wind.
That was an attack of opportunity.
Swing at him.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay. 4 points.
And I'll use uncanny dodge so I can have that.
What did you do?
I use uncanny dodge. I can have this damage.
2 points.
Wait, you can't get killed in a flashback, by the way. Don't do that. That'll really ruin the rest of the night.
I was gonna say.
Thank you for your time.
Really? That's the best you can do?
Seems you're a little bit in the gut.
You're just playing with him.
Yes.
I know.
Don't play with your food, Raziel. He misses.
Giant.
19.
Yeah.
Yay! Put him in a body bag!
Says a random stranger on the street.
10 points.
Send this saw
10 points?
Yeah.
Well, you feel your blade sink in, and he's clearly not. He's not at his at his fighting best right now, and it hurts. Hamar steps up in front of him and says, "That'll be enough. You should take your leave now while you have the chance, Rathik. This isn't the end of this.
Like all good times.
I'll send your regards to my sister. Or better still, I won't." And that's where the flashback will end, and we find ourselves in the present day, in the pavilion slash house of Khalil Azmi. Remind me, Arslan, who was there with you when you had?
When we're in his shop.
We're Sabine.
I think
and-
it was
It was
everybody
all
who
of
was
us.
physically
Yeah.
at the table. I think
Yeah.
everybody who was physically at the table was there.
Yeah.
We got
So
it together.
so Captain
Yeah.
wasn't there and Alexides wasn't there, but
Yeah.
everybody else was, I think.
So sure, Captain could certainly come along. He was just out and about.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
No,
Whereas
but
Alexides is all the way on the.
understood right now.
Outside town.
Kepri was not.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I mean we did
off gathering dates.
Right,
I was gonna say, yeah, they actually
You were
got
putting
there.
together your whole.
Right.
I need 10 camels, this much wine.
Yeah, he was making the arrangements
Right.
for the trip
Yes.
over to Fort Zayad.
Because I kicked you out. You kept trying to put meat on Anapollo.
It works, I tell you. Kiwish medicine is the oldest, the wisest medicine.
on your
Put the meat on! Put the meat on! Put the meat. Brother, do not make me kick you in the ribs to give you the meat.
Which is where we had both determined you had a fracture, so.
Someone said that's the first D&D flashback they've ever seen. That was a cool idea.
It's cool. You're very kind. At the pavilion and house of Khalil Azmi, food is prepared, and then all of the servants leave except for the one who you had seen previously following you, and you, during that time, which kind of gave some proof to your feeling that you were being watched a couple weeks back. Madam.
Quick question. Are they serving those blue cobalt clams?
They are, as a matter
Oh,
of
so
fact.
we're really esteemed guests here.
Yes.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, I've always wanted to try those.
We'll all be horny in about an hour.
Right. Right. Well, it's cool, you know.
Hey,
Lots of friends.
Whether
what
outside
happens-
is right.
what happens in the tent of Khalil Azmi stays in the
Stays in
tent
the
of
tent of
Khalil
Khalil
Azmi.
Thank you, friends. I am honored to have you here, and I trust that everything that we discuss this evening remains here as friends. I assure you that I am capable of rewarding those who assist me.
It will remain.
Everybody make a perception roll.
16.
20.
I also did 16.
I am enraptured by the blue of the clams.
Right, you are. You like this. They're really very good. Yeah. You also get the sense from him, although he is extremely cultured and his manner is low key and charming. You also detect that there's an implied threat there also. You know, and you know him. He is probably the wealthiest merchant who is not part of the Dyers Guild, in the city.
Oh, so this would have been insight then.
It would be an insight,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Well, I mean, it's the same bonus for me, but yeah, just make sure.
Future reference.
Read your reference.
He says, let me tell you a story, my friends, before we get to the heart of the matter. As you know, of course, the treasure house of the lictors is quite likely the most impregnable edifice within the city, excepting the Great Casbah itself. Perhaps the Black Casbah. But either way, it would be a very difficult task to enter within. But the risks, of course, match the reward. What do you know of the treasure house, friends?
We know a little of the history about how it was actually the gatherings that were made of the people who ruled at one point, although I don't remember who at the moment.
And
But
who opposed the hegemon of the pearl.
When the hegemons took over, they placed within, they gave the authority to 3 nobles of the city, of the valley and the city-state, to administer the wealth that was confiscated from those who were deemed to be enemies of the city-state. And that wealth was perhaps a bribe to keep the powers of to keep the nobility culled and with a reason with something to lose themselves should the order change. The treasure house was actually was a villa owned by one of the 3 lictors, Count Linnaeus Palamon, he whose head was taken at the end of the reign of the hegemons. But one of his own servants, after the fall of the lictors and the hegemons, came into my own service, and he points to the man who was following you in the souk and elsewhere. This is Derhan, and he bows. He was a slave to Count Linnaeus Palamon, and in the chaos that followed, he came to me asking for protection. And he brought with him something of value. And he looks at Derhan, who opens up his cloak and produces a cord with a key around it. All of that wealth has been stored up for the past 5 years and longer. It was the wealth of 20 years. It was the wealth of the 10 years that was confiscated during the reign of the hegemons of the Pearl. And it has been there since. When the new government took over, the patrician and others would like the wealth that is contained within to go to the city-state. But the 2 surviving lictors, Count Hamar Hadrathus and the Prince Patrician's uncle, Count Jaudin Dalabas, are less amenable to that arrangement.
sure.
And so the fate of the wealth within, some of which members of the families that were confiscated would like to see it. They are very likely least of all to receive any consideration, of course. But there are many people that would like to claim that wealth.
Yes, it would be a pity if it disappeared before they were able to.
Even so. I will tell you another story now. About 30 years hence, a merchant prince of Kemet named Tawer found himself in the midst of what could be a very profitable enterprise, but which seemed to him to be a trap. And so, rather than... Do you need something to drink?
No, it's an allergy. Apologies.
Tawer of Kemet fell afoul of a palace imbroglio, and rather than stay and determine whether his head would be taken from him, he left the land of his birth for Vadashar. But before he left, he made certain that an identity would be awaiting him in his new land, one that would provide him with a certain degree of the comforts that he had enjoyed. A very small modicum of those comforts, I would say. But they brought him anonymity and safety. Even his wife and children do not know his origins.
That's hard to do.
About 10 years ago, Tawer, or Khalil Azmi, as he is known, he himself, learned that merchants sought to establish an embassy between Kemet and here. Through his own influence, he was able to prevent such a thing. It would not be good for those who have long memories in Kemet to know of the fate of Tapware. But now, I understand another embassy is prepared for here. And even if this embassy does not come to fruition, there will be others at its place. One cannot keep the sea at bay forever. And so, friends, I believe that it is time for me to move on. But I would require more than I have been able to put away to make the final journey where I wish to go. Into anonymity, safety, security, and yes, wealth. And I believe that such wealth can be had in the treasure house, of which my man Dirham has a key.
Can I make an insight roll to see if he's telling the truth as to his motivations for leaving?
You can make an insight roll.
It's a 22.
It's a compelling story. You don't detect any chicanery on his part.
When you say that he has a
Beyond
key,
what he has already,
Well,
yeah.
Right, yeah.
not to get technical or anything, but you say he has a key. Does that mean that there is one lock with multiple keys, or multiple locks with different keys, and he has one of those?
There are 3 doors to gain entry into the grounds of the treasure house.
This key is to get through one of them.
Yes.
The amount of wealth that I've heard is there would require a train to move out. Train of camels, what have you. So I think arrangements would have to be made to do something more than just gain the wealth, but to move the wealth once accessed. I wonder if we know a merchant that could pull together that kind of weightlifting.
I would say that within any reasonable permutation, I will assist in any way that I can.
And I assume that the other keys would be held by one by Hamar and the other by the other accounts.
I am certain that they have keys in any event, but there is also an administration that oversees the treasure house and many guards, of course. And then, of course, there is the matter of gaining access to the gardens of Kamal itself.
Which requires either a pass or a way in that goes around that.
It will require one of these, yes.
Let's see. State of Vadashar, official permission for unrestricted movement, valid only on enough days, signature. Any alteration to this pass will render it invalid. Loss of pass is to be reported immediately to the issuing authority. That just showed you. Yeah.
There's one concern out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, that's This is
One.
this is an old pass.
Oh, I didn't see the date.
Oh yeah, so
It's an expired pass.
because obviously Autobot would know that. I have no fucking clue,
Yeah.
but he would know.
Well, I'm saying it's expired. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do not oil merchants move their wholesale commodity in very, very large vats and in wagons containing very, very large vats?
They do.
And do not wealthy people need oil in the middle of the night sometimes?
That
It does-
entire part of the city, I believe, uses oil lamps.
Quite a
So
lot,
I'm sure
I
that
imagine.
they use quite a lot of oil.
Now, it wouldn't get us a pass, but perhaps a reason to be there with very large empty vats that could then contain wealth from the treasure house itself.
It
Doesn't
may
get us
actually need
in,
the
but-
oil too, because you can't have all that wealth making the noise that wealth makes.
It's true.
You will need a pass for
To get in.
everyone who is there will need a pass. Therefore, you will need someone who has the skills
To make those passes.
precisely.
But with this, we should be able to create one anew.
Somebody who's skilled at forgery can make another copy.
You can make an insight roll.
Is there any kind of drawings?
You would know that somebody who was a spy master might have access to or somebody.
Is there the architects that built this place? Did they leave behind any
Diagrams?
drawings of? I assume they've been altered if as old as the facility is that they're being held in, but it would give us a start.
I think we could work with this man to come up with some sort of idea of what the grounds look like and
But would his man know of any unknown passages or
well, that was another question I was going to ask.
yeah,
Alternate means of ingress.
ingress, not egress.
I may know someone who could provide us with the services of a forger.
Were there any underground entrances? I was speaking to his
To Dirhan.
to dear.
Dirhan. As you know, Effendi, there are many tunnels beneath the city. Many tunnels, many sewers, and there is, in fact, a sewer directly beneath the treasure house of my former master.
Is there water in the sewer? Or is it dry?
It is a sewer, lady, with all that comes with it.
Yes. Enough perhaps for a boat. To move.
Maybe at certain times.
Yes.
And the pitter-patter of rain could be good for masking noise. The sewers, though, I've heard, are also guarded in that part of the town, in the gardens of Kemet. In the gardens
Guards of Kamal.
of Kemal. Is that...
What was the question, I'm sorry?
The sewers even have guards in that part of the town, don't they? Or do they not? Or are they just locked? Or
I
either
cannot.
locked?
I have never been in the sewers myself, my friend.
I mean,
know
I think
people
he
who
means
might know
these sewer
something like
entrances. Are they
Adults.
guarded? The sewers themselves, but
You might know someone who would know
this is
that.
asking DM, by the way, not
I know.
Possibly.
possibly.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
I've spent some time in the sewer, so I'm rather familiar with. That's something that we could investigate.
Give me an insight roll. Or no, I'm sorry. History.
13.
This. There's a lot of, there's people that live beneath the ground. There's a lot of tunnels around the city. I mean, there would definitely be no reason why there wouldn't be tunnels. And of course, the gardens of Kamal were actually one-time gardens they were the gardens that were established by the first king of Vadishar, who was himself a son of a giant king. Sorry, I was trying to give you a little PTSD. I'll do it again. Son of a giant king! Okay, good, thank you. So these gardens were huge, of the hanging sort of biblical ancient variety, and so it would stand to reason that there would have to be some sort of drainage.
I was saying the Beggar King, they also lived down in the sewer.
I mean, there's beggars everywhere in Vadishar. But yeah, there's beggars
Except
in
in
the
the
sewers.
gardens.
Right, but not in the gardens of Kamal, which is a walled-off city, which was a very which was conspicuously one of the few places that was not that did not suffer during the week of sorrows when the Coronians invaded.
What was your timeline for undertaking this venture?
It must be planned correctly. I would not sleep well were anything to happen to you.
Thank you.
For then I would know that the operation had failed, and I would not.
You would no longer be safe.
Precisely. In exchange, in addition to an equal share in the wealth that we would presumably glean from such an operation, I would extend to you, my friend, the monopoly in the city-state for the Andosian cobalt varnish clams.
Quite lucrative.
It is lucrative.
It will make you very wealthy. Not fabulously wealthy, but you will be comfortable.
The fabulously wealthy would come from donations from the government.
Precisely.
That would be wonderful.
And what if you decided that you wished also to find yourself in the wind afterwards? That would be, of course, your business. I will not be here to determine. But it is a lucrative franchise, and one that I will give to you. Upon success.
Understood.
It's going to take quite a bit of planning,
Yes.
reconnaissance, checking guard routines.
Interviewing people when they don't know they're being interviewed. My biggest concern is not tunnels and drainage. It's the staff and the eyes that are active in that area. They're not like the guards in the other parts. They're trained and understand the values of what's in there. They will be a much higher risk than guards in other parts of the city. But that's what makes it worth it. If you're all interested in fabulous wealth
I'm indifferent.
and agency.
Wealth buys other resources.
But I know that you would appreciate agency,
Of course.
your own agency.
I mean,
That's what this wealth could also buy.
as far as what wealth can get me, I'd be just as comfortable living penniless as I would be having 1,000,000 pieces of gold, but
But wealth buys armies.
Wealth
it does.
buys what you need.
It does buy armies.
You can be poor after having an army.
I very well might be.
I think I would be very disturbed if you ended up.
Kepri has not said anything.
Kepri's not there.
I'm out of here.
The reason.
Kepri has.
There is a reason I
Yes.
am noticeably silent.
Capri is strangely
Everybody
quiet.
make an insight roll.
I've never been so quiet.
18.
16.
I'm feeling attacked right now.
I came here to have a good time, and I'm honestly feeling very
And then there's
attacked.
also, and you also have that sudden insight, and then there's the matter of Kepri too, who is Chemish.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what that means apropos of, I mean, I know what it means to me. I don't know.
It means that he knows that he's trying to start a new embassy here, And
Yes.
that is of great concern to him because he's trying to stay anonymous, why he wants to leave. What he's doing is creating his reason to exit the city. Or exit.
To
He's
exit
building
now.
his
Yes.
retirement plan.
Right.
Yeah. He knows that once that is set, he's at great risk to staying here. Because the embassy will create,
Eyes. Keemish eyes.
Commerce and, people will come, right.
and they'll find out he's here. We have, I'm going to only make an assumption that you understand that one of our compatriots is involved in the creation of this embassy.
Thank you for assuming me not a fool. Can your friend be trusted?
He can.
And will he, insofar as my own plans go, they do not clearly involve any congress with persons from the land of my birth. Tower of Kemet disappeared many years ago, and there he shall stay.
That said, that puts a time frame on our operation. Because once the establishment of the embassy is completed, we need to be done by then, or the risk goes up higher for you.
Was Eliandro with you also? Was he here?
I think we left him at the Oasis.
I don't think he came here with
Yeah.
us.
Okay.
I think
I don't think he came.
he bid us adieu.
Okay, just curious.
He has to go back to his horrible wife.
Right.
Right.
So, he can be trusted, although I will say he is loyal to his sister, and that creates a bit of a concern, I would think. I don't believe he would do anything against this.
I don't think that his ambitions in any way clash with your own. In fact, I believe the timelines will make up just fine.
So this guy appears to be Keemish as Capri is. I mean,
Yeah.
that you can.
Yeah, he has. He's much older. He's closer to. He's in his 60s, So, but you can tell that, and you can also tell that he has let himself go native. So his hair is long in a way that. Most Keemish do not keep their hair long. He's also hairy. He has his eyebrows are kind of bushy, and he's got a lot of gray in his hair. But you can see he's got, a prominent nose, as many Keemish that you've seen on little hieroglyphic cartoons, look like. Oh, Keemish.
Physical features are Keemish, grooming habits are kind of sharp.
Right.
Not cartoons, they're anime.
Anime is
No,
an
that's
important
critical.
part of our culture.
Like moving the Egyptian picture shows.
Just to say on the positive side, Capri and his sister are younger and
They don't know the past.
may not know about the past of.
Then I have no difficulty if you wish to bring your companion into this as well, including for an equal share, as long as he understands that.
He's not of my. He's there. He's younger. He's not my age. He's quite a bit younger. So I don't know. They wouldn't. You wouldn't know of some of those things from the past. I think until maybe some other people.
Introduced him.
You are friends with you are friends with the boss broker, Eliandro.
Yes. And what do you know of Eliandro?
He has many friends and associates on all sides of all sides of the law.
Yes. Have you Is he in your employ? In any of my email?
No, you know that. Yeah.
I didn't. I would have known that already. I would have asked him. Yes, he's been very good to me and my father.
Well, then I will leave the planning to your good offices. I am, of course, at your disposal, and you may seek the agency of Dirham if you have any urgent need or perhaps more questions about the layout
Indeed.
as he recalls it. I have no doubt that there has been some modification at some point.
I would like to spend some time with him to talk about his
Dirham.
another topic.
And he bows and
We would like to collect our thoughts on this and consider our options as far as how to make this happen. And then we'll reach out again very soon.
excellent, my friends. I will look forward to hearing of your progress.
Thank you. We should limit our contact though so that we don't draw suspicion once we begin.
Yes, but it would be not suspicious for you to be involved with other merchants, and I of course work for you.
True. That's true, I think. Maybe it's the other way.
Someone works for someone.
Not hard to tell for sure.
You said his merchant shop had the stuff that was
Yeah,
from the far distant lands.
very
and
high end. Yeah, it's like
stuff that's
it's
hard to find.
Yeah, it's a mall. He sells many of the things, and in fact, as I said, Arslan came to him for those Indosian cobalt.
He sells to a lot of other merchants.
Right. And he gets really high end
Sells
things.
gold.
Very expensive, rare,
So I'd
tapestries,
actually
rugs.
be one of his patrons with regard to herbs and different things that I need.
I don't know that he gets that sort of thing. That would be a different type of guy. He does more like decorative, bling. Yeah,
Coffee table books.
yeah.
Decorative
Book that
rose.
turns into a coffee table.
We're gonna take a short break. Speaking of the sewer, and I'm gonna visit the cloaca in 1 second. Look up that word. And we'll be back in just a second. We'll take a 60-second break and come back. Okay. Thanks very much for staying with us.
So we were talking about maybe we need to go see Capri. I think there's an opportunity to, with his permission, to use his family's caravan as a way of, and product as a way of getting in and out. Get into the part of the town we need, and get the merchandise out of the
Well, they're
town.
not bringing merchandise with them.
Are they bringing samples? I thought they were bringing.
I assume there
samples.
was some, not a lot of things, like a sample or two, nothing big. If that's
A
a
sample set would make sense, yeah.
yeah, if that's not a
Yeah, I mean they're bringing things in with them, but it's not a full blown.
yeah, it's not a merchant caravan. It's
Right.
like
Fabric
stuff,
swatches, if you will.
fabric swatches and the stuff that they're bringing to basically set up shop before to get the things going. That's what I assume.
My thoughts were to see what we could find coming in from underneath. That we don't have to worry about the guards and the things that
Yeah, we can do it
to raise alarms.
But you can use the pretext of having Chemish things in, coming in, even though it's not necessarily, even though you don't have,
Right. There's also multiple levels of risk that we need to consider.
And we should actually consider having multiple entries and multiple exits. So if
I
something
agree with
goes
that.
wrong, it defaults to plan B and then plan C.
Yep. And
Scaling the wall and running over the top, that's always plan C for me.
Yes, but did that not land you in the black castle the last time you tried it?
Well,
you meant to be there.
I got greedy.
If
Over-
this is an example of us getting greedy, there's no better
I
example.
overstayed my welcome. I made some poor choices.
Yes. Getting greedy over something you can carry in your hand is nothing compared to what we're about to
But when the guards are
what we're looking at now.
breathing down my neck, I get out quick.
Well, it sounds like we have a lot to discuss and a lot to plan. We should start gathering information as soon as possible,
Yes.
and I
Scouting
have
this
to see if I
place.
can get us a forger.
And we need to start finding people inside that we can meet and befriend and
Which will require going inside, which I can do.
once you have a forgery. I mean.
No, I mean I can get myself hired at parties.
Well, actually, with the right clothing, she has the looks to get in and out.
I just go in and out.
Well, no, but
No. I can get
It-
myself hired for parties.
yes, there's no rules that it would be reasonable and expected for her dressed in a certain way.
Entertainers are always welcome at every tier of society.
That's true.
Yes.
Everybody's got access.
Everyone gets bored.
The wealthy probably more than others.
Indeed.
There are a lot of risks here that we need to mitigate as much as we can, but they will not be all mitigated. And we have to know that there's a chance some of us may not come out of this.
Indeed.
Speak for yourself.
Where are you? What were you? This is after you left.
Yeah,
We
I'd
need
say
to go
we're-
find Capri.
Yes,
Yeah, we're going to find Capri.
Okay. And Kepri, you
I figured I was at caravanserai and no, you don't understand. I need the finest wines, a special occasion. Would you take me for some cheap, tardy, two-bit? Oh,
4-bit, for sure.
and you hear Kepri.
Nerf herder.
You hear Kepri engaging with a caravan worker who seems more amused at his discomfiture than helpful.
where is the driver? Where is the caravan master? I wish to speak with him. Surely he
Ah,
was.
Capri, there you are.
Oh, thank goodness. You can speak some sense into this son of a...
Camel herder.
What are you looking to do?
He's trying to buy off the camel.
I would not give him the pleasure or prestige of calling him a camel herder. Ah, friends.
You may be at the wrong
I believe I am at the wrong place.
camel.
Oh, I see. Oh, you are all gathered here.
Yes, we have much to discuss.
Please, turn around. I want to make sure there are no knives behind your backs. If you'll permit me to... I did not mean actually. Go.
There are no knives.
Yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
I cannot make such a statement.
I didn't. I already assumed you had knives, my dear.
To be fair, if I were to try to stab you, you know I'd come at you full frontal.
My dear brother, on
Did you
Anupam.
just say something about nudity?
No, that's what?
Full. No one ever uses full frontal unless they're talking about nudity. Do they?
Apparently, in their culture, they do.
Dear brother, I would expect nothing less. And nothing more, but that's neither here nor there.
To be fair, Khalifan is not my first language.
We need to go somewhere to talk. We can deal with your wine later. I can have someone go
I meant,
arrange for the wines that you want.
I'm sure. Let us go.
Somewhere private.
Would be
I will
nice.
go to my stall. It's private. It's close enough.
Are you sure there are no curious ears that happen by?
We'll close the door. If you want to check, we can check when we get there.
Why not just go to, by the way, did we, I wasn't able to catch, did we ever secure the Wizard's Tower? Or,
There's a door on it now.
There
with
is a
lock.
door.
Yes,
There is a door with a
with a
lock.
lock.
all
That's
right.
coming.
But
That's
we
very
can't
heavy door.
assume
Okay,
that the place is empty.
then I won't make the suggestion to meet up there.
Like I'm
Fine
pretty
door
sure there's
it
at
is,
least.
I would hope so. The doorsmith took forever.
Capri,
But speaking of it,
make an insight roll.
we're probably going to need to use up for some temporary storage soon.
Yes.
No, that's a 7.
Oh,
That's a 7.
okay. It looked very much like a 1.
Kepri is too flustered by this
The ignorant son of a peacock.
Son of a peacock.
That's your, that I can't.
He is not the son of a dung beetle, he is the dung of the beetle. So, no,
You don't pick up on the subtext of what they're trying
Oh, no,
to they've got going on.
I'm too stressed, I'm planning.
Tough day.
When we get
What I
to
tell you.
my shop, I'll get some wine. It's not the quality that he wants, but it's good quality.
As we're leaving, I would like to whisper something to Anupam. If this works out, you may have my share for your army.
That's both uncharacteristically generous of you, and well, I actually don't have another thing that's pretty much just uncharacteristically generous of you.
Uncharacteristically, have I ever been not generous toward you?
I mean, I guess that's fair, but I just
Yeah, she's been very generous on a personal.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's fair. I don't know. Something about your personality. I guess didn't really see it coming.
Well,
I of course don't mean that as an insult. It's just
hardly what I expected.
It's not that. It's just
I rescind the offer.
please allow me the opportunity to pull my foot out of my mouth.
Very well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I very much appreciate it.
Can I make a perception to hear him pull the foot out of his mouth?
It's a gross sound.
Yeah. Very
Does
wet.
it went in here
I got a
first?
12. Fine. I hear something about foots out of mouths and...
Sit.
Thank you, I will.
I'll pour some wine for all of us.
I feel very uncomfortable at the moment.
Good.
As if there is some conspiracy being
I
planned.
will check
Oh, but there
the stall
is.
just to make sure there's.
Yes, I figured as much when
I
I came to find
know.
here.
Yeah, we'll wait for you to go
Oh.
check, actually.
I do so love being
We're gonna wait
volunteered
for
for
him to go check.
conspiracies. What are we doing now? Attempting to assassinate the assassinate some mystical heir, some far off land, or perhaps steal some ancient treasure?
Nothing as simple as that.
I've taken a look around.
And certainly nothing ancient.
Oh. So I am half right. At least about the same. Do tell.
We want to steal a lot of wealth.
Well,
Reappropriate. I think that's.
I think I believe getting into government would help you with that really quickly.
We're going to get into the government in a manner of speaking. Have you ever heard of the treasure house of the lictors?
Only via murmurings of the merchant caravans, but I paid no mention. I know nothing other than they are involved with merchants somehow.
It is the.
Orpheus heard the storyteller tell some stories.
Yeah.
It's kind of the wealth of the city over a decade, all in one spot.
That is quite some wealth.
Yes, and it needs to be reliberated.
It does it? And I suppose we are a motley band of zealots, for a lack of a better term, is the ones to do it.
We're thinking we could liberate it.
I see. Tell me, I don't know much about it, but I know it is very heavily guarded, and I would like to know where you have gotten your lotus from.
We are not saying it wouldn't be easy.
I never said you said it would be easy. I just want to know where you have acquired your narcotics.
We have not.
Oh, okay, good.
But we do have a key.
A key?
Yes.
All right.
We simply need to plan a way in and out. And we have the access.
Oh,
We
We have part of the access.
We were presented with a business proposition.
oh. So, very well. I will hold my forked tongue for a moment, please.
I have a question. How much loyalty do you have to Kemet? I have not heard you speak of it in anything more than passing terms.
That's because I've not spoken of it in any more than passing terms. My home is a rightly mysterious and dark place. But I suppose one could say that I am a patriot of sorts. However, I would not. It's an odd question you ask. Why do you ask this?
Why are you not in Kemet?
Because would you like me to delve into my whole life story?
We've
Or
got
just-
time.
Oh, I'm sure.
Plenty of wine.
Oh, I'm sure. But thank you.
Sabine didn't touch the wine. It was poured right in front of you.
Yes, but that is the obvious ruse.
And it's not the camel piss that camel jockey was trying to peddle to you.
Oh, I am far over him. I'm as far over him as the sun is along the river. To answer your question, I do have a fondness for my homeland. It is where I was raised. Well, it is a strange place, but I would be lying if I said I did not miss it occasionally. The real question I have is, why do you ask?
And what of your sister?
Well, they do say that blood is thicker than water, but not as strong as the covenant binds us. So the phrase goes, I believe. And
I just interject that Arslan's efforts to allay any issues in Kemri are like, your approach is interesting.
so, tell me, have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
Are you now, or have you ever
Tell me
been?
about your sister.
Don't.
You wonder her political leanings.
Well, here's a list of. Well, I have nothing but great affection and loyalty for my kin.
Oh, I don't mean your loyalty. I mean
Her loyalty to the.
if there was somebody involved in this effort that was an ex.
I don't see why this is necessary.
Because we can't have something happen in the middle of this where we would be surprised by a response that would put us into a
But
risk.
why would either Capri or his sister need to meet such an individual?
I think at some point.
I think Kepri will.
All
I
right,
don't know
so
about the
Capri
sister.
does, but why can we not just leave his sister out of it?
I believe we could.
We could, although if we consider using
Further in the
their
home, I am
caravans
thoroughly
as a way of
confused.
moving it out,
Still, we
But
to
to
be
be-
fair,
to
they
be-
are. This is quite a sensitive. This has the potential of being quite a sensitive thing. So I understand all the subterfuge they are going through in order to.
The
work around
enormity
it.
of the reward bears with it complications.
Oh no, I
Do
get
we want
that
to
there's
describe
fabulous
which-
wealth beyond measure. I'm just trying to connect point A to point B.
essentially.
I'm trying to figure out what my sister has to do with fabulous wealth beyond
Absolutely
measure.
Okay, you
nothing.
know what?
Maybe you could
All
explain
this double talk is really getting
You
quite
handle
tiresome.
the
Tell me,
facilities better
have you
than
heard of
us.
a man called Talwar?
I don't believe I have. DM, I don't believe I have. Before my time.
Roll a natural 20.
Oh,
I'm
it was a
19, but
19 though.
nope.
Damn.
It's not even remotely in the neighborhood. By the way, that would have been the first of 3 natural 20s.
Fair enough.
See if you could get the one. I didn't want to discourage you.
No, no,
That was really impressive though.
It
You got
was. It
that-
was
I'll
good.
roll it, I'll roll it.
Nice, nice.
no, I am. This man you speak of.
Does not matter. What matters is there is someone in this city who, yes, we can trust to some extent,
Yes.
who is being vouched for, who will split, if I'm not mistaken, DM, 50-50 with us?
No, you also
all
even
shares.
equal
All even
shares?
shares.
Equal shares.
I mean, if you think about it, pretty much he's just coming to us with the job. I mean,
Right,
he's just
I
offering
know.
a small resource. We're the ones
It's
that's gonna do
fabulous
all the
wealth.
heavy lifting.
Even
Makes
with
sense.
equal shares, he's gonna make enough to retire? Okay. He will give us all equal shares in the dividends of liberating wealth
I
from
mean,
the
it's
treasure
a mansion that's filled
I
with
was gonna say.
the wealth of
Also-
wealthy people.
Also, to be fair, he does seem like he has his own money. This is just like would be like an extra bump onto
Right,
whatever
right.
he has. So
There's an expatriate from your homeland
who
living in Vanishore.
doesn't matter. Simply that he is someone who is willing to assist us with this. He is trustworthy as far as we are aware, and provides us with a key to the treasure house. We need only to
And
find a
information
way,
would-
and information. We need only to find our way in and out. That would be our job.
He is concerned because he is Kemish, as you know, but
I am? Oh, so I am?
many years ago in your homeland something transpired. He now lives here. He
I still do not see why this factors into this.
Good luck.
just to give him background
I'm
and for him to
curious.
understand what is happening.
I'm curious. It's not often that I.
So he is
I mean, certainly Kepri has a right to know what he's getting into. I mean, you're asking
I
him
mean-
to participate.
No, no.
Sabine doesn't
I
believe
get it.
that
I'm
that's
fine. No, please
He's
continue.
either in or out. Just
Did you
deal
send
with
for
it.
Alejandro?
We will.
Okay.
I haven't yet.
Carry on, I'm sorry.
You
So
have to
he
convince
has-
Sabine that Alejandro has a part to play in this and should know anyway.
he knows of our small
Not
group and
necessarily.
he knows that of your chemish background and was concerned because there are those of your kinsfolk that
Seek to do this man harm for past transgressions.
more or
that-
less.
that's
Good. Let's say more or less.
so this proposition that we've been given by him is part of his retirement plan. He will move on.
To calmer waters, as it were.
You and your sister will come and create
Establish
an embassy. From what we understand, an embassy was, they tried to plant an embassy here years ago and it failed.
Interesting.
Well, the hegemon's taking over and the attack from the Coronian Empire may also have something to do with the inability to establish an embassy. and
So
trade.
when you meet,
The inability to what?
Establish an embassy and trade routes, if all that was going on shortly after.
Right, there's the really, and of course keep in mind too that, I mean, you would know this, I mean, more than any of them, that, I mean, you would know this, that it hasn't up until this time, the Kimmich really haven't cared about doing this.
Everything else, why would we bother? We got a perfect place here. Everything else is right in. It's like what you call it, the old Chinese thing. Here is perfect, out there is barbarians, and everything is lesser.
Why leave?
Why leave?
Or invite you.
Yeah, I don't. You can't invite new people; they'll ruin it. Well, I see. Well, let me assure you, I have heard nothing of this man. Odds are, I cannot entirely speak for my sister, but odds are she has not heard anything of this man, and any grudges that may or may not be have occurred, neither I nor my family hold any, and if they,
It was a generation past.
then definitely not. I would
It was the
be.
generation before you.
Ah,
He is. He could easily be your father or grandfather.
Fuck.
Yeah, father. Yeah. Closer to that.
I'm certain your father would know.
perhaps. We have not spoken in some time, but I'm sure he would. He is a wily sort. I do not see a problem. After all, you are my comrades, compatriots, brothers and sisters in arms. I practically think of you as a second kin.
Oh, good.
It is. It is. It is a hard thing to earn the trust of a Stygian. Sorry, of a Kingish. I will help. I will do what I can, and I sense that you, from the pointed questions about my kin, about my sister, you do have some sort of plan involving her in some form, or at least some inklings of a plan.
Maybe. There's a thought of maybe using your sister's
Welcoming party. Entourage.
The embassy.
right, the embassy as a way to create
As a diversion?
first to get in, and then as a diversion while any actions are being take place, and then potentially her caravan as a way to get the material out.
Are the embassies
Potentially.
inside the walled
It's very
area of
early.
the city?
There's no embassies per se. There are people that are officials that are from other places, but it's just, there's no
Pepper's
No
being
embassy row.
revolutionary.
there's no embassy row. Like the city-state of the Dread Overlord has their own. Obviously they have an ambassador, but he lives in a place.
So the embassy.
You don't know where he lives, actually.
It's more just people, not buildings.
Capri's trying
What's
to-
that, Paula?
It's
So the embassies are more like people
Well,
rather than buildings.
They're not. Well, right. An embassy would be people, right? And a permanent embassy would involve, somebody living there,
An
building,
ambassador, yeah.
right?
But the first embassy from Kemet
Has
is going to
nothing
involve
right now.
one person
Would be
probably.
one, right,
Nothing will
exactly.
be established. There'll be
That
no
is-
building initially. It'll just
Right.
be an individual who's
That's
the
exactly right.
ambassador trying to make inroads.
Right.
Yeah, that's essentially that is what
That's exactly right.
what his sister and to an extent he in his support is trying to do. He's trying to establish a formal connection, a strengthened connection. But right now, you gotta get your
Right. You're actually the. You're laying the groundwork there. For the coming of it. Right.
I think the embassy hasn't even been established, and it's already being involved in crime. I like it.
This would be but one possible plan. We will need many layered on top of each other. Backups for backups for backups.
Of course, it is a
This
fool.
is no.
It is a fool who brings only one camel on the in the caravan.
This is the kind of plan, regardless of what goes on, that could get one or more of us into the Black Casbah and further.
Or headless.
I thought,
There are worse things.
I mean, we are stealing, we are liberating fabulous wealth.
so you say. Well, I see no reason not. I've already risked my neck a time or two. I see not to do it again, especially with the possibility of fabulous wealth. And after all, you did come to me. What better sign of need than that? It's always nice to feel wanted.
It's what?
Oh.
We could make plans that
Oh,
excluded you.
Oh, I'm sure you could. It would probably be a bad idea. I have a certain skill set, you know. I'm very important, you know. He said with a sly chuckle.
Are you?
Not really. Not really, but knowing that,
the deal around here.
not really, but knowing that makes me a valuable asset. In my humble, ever so humble opinion.
Then soon we will introduce you to this person,
Very well.
because we will need to get information from him that will assist us in planning this.
Well, let me give
Send
you.
for Alejandro.
Yeah, why don't we do that? I'll go and see if I can get the boy to.
Right.
Why are we involving Alejandro?
Because he could probably get you into
Yeah.
the
Forge.
the kind of things that you were just discussing wanting to do. No, not about. Well, not. But the what you were discussing, the part getting the pretense
Right.
of a party, etc., etc.
Right. I mean, like they have to convince Sabine she's
Understood.
not going to want.
My bad.
She's not going to want additional people involved in this. She'll want as few people as possible involved. She doesn't like people knowing more than they absolutely have to, and believes that things are best kept secret. So, being open with people is not going to be her forte.
I don't think we need to give a share to Alejandro.
Then what would be his incentive for helping us?
Payment. But a share? I'm not sure that that's.
Who is Alejandro?
So then you're
Warranted.
not telling him what we're doing.
I don't know if I forget or I never knew.
I thought he was.
Fair enough.
I think we're going to.
You met
He
Alejandro,
has
you were just
beginning
heavily
to
drugged
end
at
of
the
this.
time.
That's fair. That's fair.
If we do,
I still
then
kind
it's
of feel
worth.
woozy.
Yeah, then it is
You
worth
actually
it.
met him this
He
evening.
has.
The drugs are just starting to wear off. In
Yeah,
fact,
that's
that
right.
reminds me, you
He's
need
got
some more drugs.
resources.
Oh,
that
do I really need to? I don't
feel
like how they
we're
go
going
ahead.
to need.
You don't need them, I suppose, but they are helping you heal.
Okay.
I just need a good night's rest. I'll be alright.
Very well.
But to conclude, let me formally say that I am behind this endeavor 100%. My silence and well, I cannot completely speak if you decide to involve her. I'm sure I can do talking to my dear sister to assist us.
Yeah, my concern with your sister was her understanding of history and whether she would be a risk, not direct involvement. I don't think we need to turn her into a major accomplice.
I will
wouldn't
say,
want to risk your sister like
I mean,
that.
technically.
I would
you
hope not. That would be very bad for everyone.
Also, she doesn't need to know anything.
You know.
I mean,
And for the record, yes, she is rather knowledgeable, and she can be dangerous. But it's neither here nor there.
Well,
She wouldn't have gotten where she is if she weren't smart.
worst case scenario, I don't think she need meat or benefactor.
I don't think she does either. But that's neither here nor there. So,
Which I don't even know why I'm talking like this. I'm still not even 100% sold on this whole plan.
why not?
Well, it's not
Great
planned.
adventure, fabulous wealth.
I'm like 75% sold at the most.
Money for armies.
That's the only reason that I'm even that much sold on this.
I thought that was your only
Because
driving factor in life right now.
It is, but at the same time, the whole idea of breaking into someplace and stealing something just does not sit well with me.
You mean stealing the stolen?
Think of it this way, Brother Almafon.
Were you? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is an impregnable fortress filled with wealth of the ages. Many have tried to get it, but none can.
Uh-huh.
Would that not be a fitting test of your skills and your abilities? I mean, after all, if no one else could get it but you, Honorpal, Dwarf of Kanda, were the one to crack it, I think that would be a pretty fine show of your ability.
We're
That's-
liberating stolen merchandise that was stolen from others.
You know, to be fair, that is a fine effort on your part to try to play me, but
Then let us not
it's
try
not
to
really
play you.
it's not really the type of notoriety I'm looking for.
Let us not try to play you then.
Who said
Henry.
anything about playing you? I spoke truthfully. You seek to test yourself.
Annabelle. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of bad to do a lot of good. What is more important? Violating a small bit of oath of morality or freeing your people?
Minuscule.
Sacrifices must be made.
Grains of
And
sand small.
you have already decided you will be the one to make those sacrifices. This is one of them.
I suppose so.
Jeez.
Alright,
You
so
came to
with
convince
that
me,
being
I think you need to
said,
convince him more.
with that being said, I did have a thought.
Oh.
I just wasn't proud about being vocal about it.
Please.
So this wealth is presumably kept on the higher floor of somewhere, I'm assuming?
It's a
Perhaps-
mansion.
Perhaps?
Within
Filled
a
with
villa
jewels.
within the walled area.
I did not know it existed until
Well, it's just that you raised an interesting point with how are you going to carry it out, and I had an idea. See, in Godwara we actually had a system for transferring goods from places that were up high, basically a flue system. I don't know if you know of what that is. But in a pinch, you don't need to set up like a wooden flue or anything like that. You could really set up just especially if the materials are light enough, or if you are sending down multiples, you just set up basically a flue of fabric.
Like
Just
so.
set it like silk.
wait a
And you set it up
second.
as a flue to transfer.
I
from
knew
a higher
this was the
floor.
right group to rob the wealth of the city.
Wait a second.
Could you please not call it that? I'm already like
We are liberating that which was
Liberating the stolen
that
wares
was
of the-
ill-gotten and
We are
stolen
doing
from
a little bad to do a great deal of good.
Yes.
we are funding the liberation of Godwara is what we are doing.
Yes.
I love an army of liberation. You hear a voice say, and you recognize Eliandro. I'm sorry, am I interrupting anything?
Oh, no, not
Come
at all.
in.
Alejandro, how nice to see you.
Hello.
It's nice to be seen by you, my dear. And he kisses your hand. I don't believe we've met. Who's this fellow?
Who, me? I am Ibn al-Kepri of Kimmit. But you may call me Kepri. My friends call me Kepri, and you may do so.
Eliandro of Vadishar, nice to meet you. You're a big, strong fella, and you have the look of a sand snake about you. No offense, man.
Oh,
Is that a
not
slur
taken.
normally, like a sand snake? I assume so.
Oh, not taken. Not taken. I prefer that. I prefer that slur to the other ones.
I've known quite a few Kimish in my day, from my time spent far east in Dipatana.
Oh.
I've got no problem with the worshippers of the Great Serpent.
Well, it gladdens me to hear that others such as one such as yourself are so enlightened and trusting.
You seem familiar to me. Perhaps I may have seen you at the caravanserai.
Once or
Good
twice.
times.
I frequently head out with Droglio every now and then.
I know the man. I understand that you might need some. Your man tells me that you're into something.
And we may need some assistance. That's right up your alley.
I'm at your disposal. And you would know that, the thing about Eliandro is that he knows everybody from the crime lord to the prince, and everybody in between. And he...
And I have a certain level of trust with him because of growing up with him.
Yes,
My
correct, right.
father. We're looking at doing something that is a high risk, high reward type of action.
I don't know any other kind that's worth engaging in.
The treasure house of the lictors. What do you know of it?
I know somebody else is looking to knock it over.
And who is that?
Pray tell.
That's interesting.
News. How enlightening.
You have met, right? You've met L.A.
Yes.
right? You guys.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. What do you know Queen Esmira? You do know Queen Esmira. She is a thief. She is a female rogue who has operated in the city-state for about 60 years.
Okay.
And she's an
She's
independent.
alive 60 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And you have
So she's one of the crime lords.
No. She's an independent.
master.
She's a she's
Still
a master
working?
thief, and she has her gang
Right.
that she does her thing with. But she absolutely, and she you have actually done jobs with her in the past, and she's been an independent, and so her name is Esmira, but they call her Queen, or Queen Esmira.
Yes, I'm familiar with her.
What's that old expression? Fear an old man who works in a profession where men die young.
I like that
Kinda like
expression.
that, yeah.
Who told you to talk?
Um,
You should talk to her. I'm just kidding, kid. Why the long face?
He received quite the beating.
Oh, you're the one who fought the giant,
And lived.
And lived.
and you are complaining why?
She didn't win.
More or less.
He's the,
From where I'm sitting, you're standing and you're walking and you're breathing. That looks like victory to me.
that's what I said to
To
him.
these aged eyes, that's what winning appears to be.
It still has both arms and both legs.
Not all his fingers and toes.
Nothing broken, but maybe a rib or two. Maybe. Does he have a rib broken?
Yes. Indeed.
Parrots out of that are very, very heavily bruised.
You do know that the place you aim to knock over has quite a number of interested parties in it, besides somebody else who
Of course,
wants to
there's too
use
much
you.
wealth not to have that. But most of them usually decide to keep their necks rather than take the risk.
You also have the advantage that there's so much of it there. It's not going anywhere for right now, but it could be.
How soon is this supposed to be happening?
I've heard that somebody was making inquiries, was looking at, I wish I could say I knew more. But good ideas have wings. Thoughts fly, in my experience.
Seems our timetable has been sped up ever so slightly.
Which I hate. But I wanted to talk to you because I want to mitigate as much of the risk as possible, and I think you would be the person that could help us avoid issues, confrontations that we need to stay out of. And you have access to those areas, which
Or could be. Are you interested in being involved?
What else do I have to do? And if Sabine is,
It is something highly important.
well, since I have taken, my dear, a personal interest in your well-being and future, what more can I ask for?
Oh, I'm sure there's something you can ask for.
Any questions? Make a history roll, Alice.
No. Like 8 or 9.
Okay. Well, it was a very easy roll for you, so that's a 5. You know that Esmira her base is in the neighborhood called Rabbit's Run, which is a slum. It's a lower end area of the city, but it's a good place for thieves to decamp. It's not quite as bad as the Labyrinth.
I wonder
Well,
if it brought
it's,
this to her if she came up with it on her own.
Well, I don't think anyone would need to bring it to her. It's a target in and of its own right.
Timing seems suspect to me.
It does.
We decide to rob
too.
the,
That is the only thing.
It almost makes me think that
Perhaps there's
both were hired
competing. Yes,
to help guarantee that somebody would get out with it.
indeed.
which I suppose we should make sure that somebody is us.
Although it does make me ask the question, how well do you know that person and do you trust him?
I know him as a merchant who sells to other merchants, and I've bought and sold his product for many years.
What if we are not the actual group that he's hiring, but rather the idiots who are going to get themselves caught before or while the actual group goes in?
That's the thought that went through my mind a moment
The
ago.
treasures.
I kind of got a feeling that he wasn't really trying to play us. I mean, for whatever that's worth.
I certainly hope not.
Why do you guys smell like clams?
They've had
We shouldn't
clams
smell like
years.
clams. We weren't bathing in them, we merely ate them.
You have a very keen nose if you could smell that.
Why, thank you. It's kept me alive more than once.
I actually believe that.
Regardless, if we are to be the patsies, then let us turn everyone else into patsies and show them to be the fools they are for underestimating us.
And plus, you think about it, I mean, he did kind of trust us with his dark secret, as it were. I mean,
If his dark secret is even true. Perhaps it was a way to win our trust.
It might be worth investigating what they're doing a little bit while we're planning this too, just to see if I'd like to know who she's meeting up with.
Who?
Esmer.
Esmera.
Who's
Meeting up with Queen Esmera.
Is she Queen Esmera? Is she?
Is she hiring
Partnering
outside
with anybody
people?
or
Or is
I'd
this-
mostly like to make sure that we're not one of two hired by the
He wasn't
same
necessarily
person.
saying that she was involved in it, but she might be somebody that you might talk to.
Oh, I thought you said
That you might
oh.
talk to her as to see
get her
if she knew, because she's
Oh.
deep into the underworld, the criminal underworld. You know what I'm saying? That's why he mentioned it.
I thought
It
he
sounds like it sounded like she was actually
planning?
planning
also
at the same
planning
time.
and maybe
No, he was saying that you should discuss it. You should see if what she knows. She would be somebody that could.
Gotcha.
I mean, maybe she is, but she would be somebody that
could help us.
yeah, or might know.
That alleviates some of our concerns.
Yeah.
Thank you, gods. Now that we have consulted with you.
Thanks, God.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Everybody else
Right, has to go here.
Not supposed to shake the ball that way. Turn it.
Would you like us to just go to meet with her or all of us?
I don't think she'd be one that we should bring everyone to. She would be a quieter meeting, I would think.
I don't know about you, but I agree. If 5 people showed up saying they wanted a meeting, I'd be very concerned. I know I was. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, slightly less concerned.
But still, you do know us. She
I do.
does not.
Right.
Well,
And
that
she
makes it
doesn't
even more
need
concerning.
to know us. Perhaps just one person she's had dealings with in the past? I assume you have,
I have.
given you're in the same trade. Perhaps you could go to her.
Okay. I can do that.
We have part of what we need, but we are missing other parts.
I think we will be able to acquire the forgeries necessary to get in.
Right, and you can also see
There's
that
also the
that
concerns
keys.
of other keys.
Yes. Well, do we not have master thieves
We do.
who can
Where?
pick locks, I'm assuming?
I'd like to know more about the locks,
Of course.
personally.
Will we be able to?
Well, you're gonna need to get into the gardens of Kamal so that you can do a proper reconnaissance
Yes.
of the property.
I also
Indeed.
think looking at the key would be helpful.
Dear Hunter,
Durham.
Yes.
Alejandro,
Maybe making impressions.
My dear.
I have been told that you could be helpful with getting me some jobs within the gardens themselves. I am an entertainer, you see.
I know someone who has a company of actors, musicians, singers, and other disreputable types, and I believe that they probably are known to entertain those within those whose processes flow down from the gardens and rain down like pearls to the rest of us.
Very good. I will be needing some inroads there, if you could help us with it. Then some reconnaissance could be done.
I shall ask and hopefully receive.
Thank you.
And what were you going to, what
I
were
did
each of
that
you
for
going?
the Tower of Zabranth, the one that we were working on, our new.
We actually need to make that
Cleaning.
claim, because
Yes.
we're gonna need that as at least
Yes.
temporary storage.
Well, the people in the area know that that's your
How-
new
How
establishment.
far is that tower from
So it is known
the-
that you are moving in
It
there.
is not.
walled city?
Well,
if you're
I mean,
all up
it
for
is the
going
one.
tomorrow,
To the tower?
it's in a different section of the city, but it's
Okay,
not that
I see.
far. I mean, it's in the one of the original four quarters of the city, so it's
You're
kind
not
of in
ready
that
to go
area,
up
but
the
it's
tree.
not near it, and it's
All
not, you know.
night?
But I
No.
mean, it's not. Yeah, it's not close.
You know,
We-
some
I do
alcohol
think
would
we
help
need,
that very
before we
much.
do all
Oh,
this,
no.
we need to
oh yes,
clean that out to
it would
make
also
room
dull my
for,
senses, which I do
and
not need.
When you attend to
find
sleep,
hidden
don't you?
places to hide them.
Yes.
And
Probably.
why didn't all your senses?
Well, I
We
don't
need, that
know
needs
the
to happen
way. I
before
don't
we do
need
the
my
rest.
senses
It
dulled
should
first
become
and
where we
foremost.
actually do the planning, because we can protect that better than this.
So it's fun.
And you also know that it's just as a sidebar, Kepri. It's a week's journey from Vadashar to Fort Zayad, and your sister is arriving in 10 days.
Mhm.
So you have 3 days to do whatever. I mean, obviously, yeah, to make some, at least set plans in motion, let's say,
Yes.
before you travel. I don't know if you had a chance to, if you were,
I was
Tell me
doing
what
some
the
fun.
ideas are, Marianne.
I was setting together some things,
Sure.
just trying to get. That's what I was trying to do when that.
We should go make the claim on our new property so that we can prepare it for
Our arrival.
move in.
our merchandise arrival.
Let us do that. How
I,
do we do that?
I think you need to get into the gardens.
yes.
More important than anything else.
And I think that I should bring an assistant with me so that that person can take careful notes and observations while I'm doing entertainment.
Are you capable of careful notes and observations?
I believe so. Last time I checked.
Excellent.
Very well. Anupam will come with me then, posing as my assistant. And the three of you will
Well,
secure.
actually, he'll be your guard.
You can do that as well.
Your your personal protection.
That could work as well. And that would actually give him a
Well,
better reason
it's-
to walk around.
Right. Well, it would be fitting because that you would be escorted, and
Yes.
that
And it would explain all the bruises.
You might want to highlight those bruises. This is the place to have them.
Very good. Excellent idea, thank you.
And we'll go,
Secure the
and
compound.
then tomorrow we'll go secure the compound and make sure that we have access to the places we need and can start preparing it for what we. I would like to have an area in there where we can plan in private, that's very secured. A place in the,
You'll
Or
want
when I
to
have meetings there. But...
clear that place out as much as possible.
Oh, yes.
And if you can figure out
It's not much as possible. It has to be.
is going
Right
on.
away.
Well, those creatures.
Oh,
We
don't worry
can
about
do-
that.
we'll bring people to
We'll
do
break that
some
off,
of
and
that.
that'll be that.
Very well.
We can
We'll bring
deal
people
with
with
those.
us too.
We can deal with those creatures.
I'm sure. We can deal with them by breaking the entrance off.
No, because that might afford
do
us other areas within the city to be able to go to.
Adjust. I assure you.
I would love to know if any of those tunnels get us a little closer to the garden. Maybe
Well, that
there's
was
another-
That's what he was wondering.
Oh,
You know, in other words, how close
Yeah.
it was to the, but, you know, one of the things, again, when you you can, and obviously we don't have to, we can, how do I say it, we can encapsulate some of that, you know, telescope some of that information, but you know from
not bad.
conversing with Khalil Azmi that he can probably, well, just from, if the guy was the guy's, if he was Count Lernaeus Palman's servant or slave in that place, he probably knows the grounds pretty well, and he'd
Yeah.
probably tell you at least its proximate location within the gardens. In other words, you'll know where you're going at least,
yeah,
you know.
actually, you should probably meet with him before you go in, so that you'll have a better understanding of where you need to, what you need to be looking for, and where to be putting your eyes.
I also have someone else I need to meet with this evening. Yes.
So we all have our roles to play in this farce.
Make an insight roll.
9.
Make an insight roll. Well, no, it's a very easy one. You figure you might want to take that with you too. To
Oh
give it
yeah,
to
no,
the-
I would have. Yeah.
15.
Yeah, you figure you would
Yeah.
take it. It's an easy one.
Yeah, of course.
Did not require any great insights.
This thing that I need for it.
And I was gonna head to Rabbit's Run.
Okay. To go find Queen Esmeralda. You were going to go and
See Godrigo.
see Godrigo. You
I'd like to get us some muscle for cleaning that out tomorrow.
muscle or muscles?
Muscles.
You're sure that
The
throw
Indosian,
muscles and the
oh,
muscles.
you mean, no, I mean like, not the clams,
No.
you mean actual muscles, gotcha,
To help clean out our facility.
gotcha,
We
okay,
need to get that prepped.
okay. And your assistant Tarantinos, he probably knows some guys around in the place,
My cousin.
and you, what were you gonna do?
Me? That's a good question. I was gonna.
The lictors were the three administrators of the wealth. And by that I mean they were the three creeps that,
Right.
you know,
Managed to
stole the wealth.
squirrel it away.
And by the way, I should make one. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
No, go ahead. What I'm doing is essentially now I'm juggling between
Wait a
helping.
minute. Our tower's in Rabbit's Run that we're making claims on, isn't it?
I thought it was an old town.
Is
I thought it was Old Town.
Yeah.
It is
oh,
in
no,
old.
Tower 2 is
There are two towers.
Yes.
the other towers.
There are the two towers.
The other one. That's right.
But that's okay. It's an understandable confusion. No. What were you going to?
Nothing. I'm juggling between helping them and getting preparations ready for
To leave in a few days, right? Because you need supplies for going through the waste and etc. And then as you're sort of mulling about or milling about, Eliandro approaches you, and he's older even than Khalil Azmi. He's probably in his 70s, and you brawl, but you're not a brawler. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, more or less.
And you have some.
But I mean, I would have say scarring.
No, he asks you that. He
Oh.
says that to
Oh,
you.
oh, oh.
He asks you.
No, I mean that's one way of putting it, I suppose.
You have a deeper philosophical bent, right?
I like to think I do.
I'm starting to fall asleep here. Let me just say this. You seem to have some kind of an ethical dilemma. Let me talk to you about these wonderful lictors and all the happiness and joy they brought into the world.
I very confusedly look back at everybody and go with it.
And he basically tells you about how these three noblemen attached themselves with the rabble, gave them some sort of legitimacy, and basically picked out sometimes just wealthy, innocent old ladies that had money and stole their money, and that's the wealth that's in the place that's been sort of holed up. So it's ill-gotten gains. It's Nazi gold. It's Franco's treasure.
I get that, but at the same time,
Chef Boyardee's secret.
Oh no, that's
secret
fair.
underground well.
Oh, no,
Okay, we're talking about evil dark shit.
Well of
Okay.
SpaghettiOs.
Exactly.
That's the whole. Well, that's the whole thing. I mean,
well, no, I get it. It's blood money. It's blood money, right?
Exactly. That's the whole thing.
But perhaps again, I'm not trying to influence you.
No, yeah.
And make an insight roll.
Yeah, sure. I'll go with this one. Oh, that's pretty good. Dirty 20.
So you get the sense that I'm not saying that you're convinced or anything, but
Right, yeah.
and you do get the sense that that perhaps Eleandra may have lost something within those prescriptions also, which is where they were also in the old school prescriptions like in ancient Rome. So for whatever it's worth.
Yeah.
We're going to take our final break for nature and then come back. And also, we're going to award experience this evening.
Oh, what?
Yes.
We get XP?
Well, I woke up this
I didn't
morning
know
and
that
I
you did
said,
that.
yeah, I know, right? I told you there were slight differences in my game style.
Oh my goodness.
But, I fear after 3 months.
Right.
200 XP.
So tonight, before we end, we will award experience. We're going to take a quick break for nature and then come back and wrap up our week 13 episode. Should Old Acquaintance Be Forgot? Thank you for staying with us. Woo!
We're back.
Thanks for staying with us for our final segment of week 13, Should Old Acquaintance Be Forgot, on Zealots of Zul. And a quick reminder, we are getting experience points tonight, thank you. And so I know everybody's been chomping at the bit, and I've been a very bad snack dad. So we will fix that forthwith this evening. So we were, the Zealots were about to break off into their component parts to track down some various things. What were you going to wind up doing after Anupam and Eliandra had a little chat? What was your plan were you going to go with one of them to do something?
I know that I talked about going with Sabine to somewhere.
Okay, you were going to accompany her.
Right, yeah.
Not to Godrigo's though.
Okay. Right,
He's going to accompany me when I get some jobs in the closed off area, the district, as my bodyguard / assistant. Basically, while I'm performing, he's gonna case the joint.
Okay.
That's not happening next morning or anything, right?
No, well, it's not happening this evening. This evening I'm going to see Godrigo.
This evening. No, I'm going to bed. Fuck that.
Yeah,
no.
he's supposed to be going to bed, getting rest.
So you were going to go back to the. What were you going to do? Were you going to
back to the
ziggurat?
You go to the ziggurat. Okay.
It might be worth getting him a story, creating a story for him, so that if he's ever questioned, you have synchronization.
Or I just pretend to be mute.
Nobody would buy it.
Oh, you're just my bodyguard, who I hired to make sure that nobody to make sure that nobody touches the merchandise without.
It'd be like that scene in Get Smart. It's like, this is my deaf and dumb manservant. Okay.
As you get, by the way, as you go to the ziggurat, to the Temple of Baal, to billet yourself for the evening, you find a note waiting for you in your quarters or on your door, saying that the archpriest would like to speak with you.
Gotta go to the princess's office.
Guess I'll go see the archpriest.
And when you find him, he's actually leaving. He's actually descending from the ziggurat for the final time for his last prayers of the day, or whatever the archpriest does in the confines of the apex of the ziggurat 4 times a day. I mean, I'm just saying.
I am not a religious
evil unto him who thinks evil of it. Sorry.
I am not a religious man. I don't know what he does.
Right. He's not a particularly religious man either.
That's fair.
He's the archpriest.
That's fair.
Anupam, I see you got my message.
Yes. I was about to turn in for the night, but I figured I might as well come see you if I could.
Thank you for coming to my summons. I see you're somewhat healed from your injuries.
Yes, I was given some pretty good medicine, actually.
I shall see that you are provided with some more before you take your rest of the evening.
That would be very much appreciated.
I also thought that you would be interested to know that I have formally requested that refugee status be accorded to you by the patrician under the ancient laws of hospitality.
Oh.
This would make your position less unstable than it has been up until this point.
I wasn't even aware that it was up until this point. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Ignorance is bliss, I see.
I suppose so.
The blessings of Baal.
Wait, did you just say Baal blesses you by making you ignorant?
In this particular case, it seems.
Yes.
Well, again, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I mean, I guess it would certainly make things a little bit easier for me without me everything on before.
And he smiles and takes his leave of you.
Good night.
And lets you take your leave. Make an insight roll, by the way.
Yeah, sure. Ooh, 21.
Who knows?
Well, damn.
All sorts of things to consider, but who knows?
Well, damn.
Sabine.
I'm going to see my friend Rodrigo.
And you find him in the caravanserai where he is the buyer's agent as his cover.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have brought a copy of the, where's our pass?
Khalil, Esper. It's right there.
Okay, guys, can you pass the pass?
Arslan.
Pass it.
Thank you. I have brought a copy of the pass for him,
Right.
so that he.
Yeah, that's an expired pass. You know, you will notice that you can see it's got a date, and a month. It's the date on that is
Apophis.
14 Apophis, right? Correct. So it's about a
Yes,
month and a
I
half.
can read fake Greek.
Yes, good. Perfect. So that is the
Very useful skill to have.
that's excellent.
In this game,
Yeah.
Exactly. Nice. You get something. Extra 1 experience point. That pushes you over for the next level. Yeah, so that's an old one. It's expired from about a month ago. And is anybody with you? You went by
No,
yourself?
I would have gone alone.
Hello, Sabine.
Yes. Hello.
I have something for you.
Oh.
And he goes into the back and brings you this bouquet of agapanthus.
Oh, you shouldn't have that either. It's lovely.
Which is flowers for those who haven't.
we assume when you said bouquet.
Okay, good. You got the.
Do
Context clues.
They're blue. They're blue flowers, by the way.
are they useful for making poisons?
That would be the gift. That would be an appropriate
Yes.
gift, right? No, these
They're
are.
just
It's
for.
a whole bouquet of belladonna.
No, these
Here you go.
these are a gift of friendship and affection.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
I am glad you like them. What can I do for you, my friend?
I actually, if we could speak privately,
As always.
I have a request. Assuming you know a good forger.
I know someone with these talents. What is it that you need duplicated? So I take it that your lover in the gardens cannot provide you with one of these.
Currently, sadly, I have no lover in the gardens.
That is sad.
I'm sure that could be rectified. Although you do know how I loathe to mix business with pleasure. However, this would be all business were I to acquire one. The problem is, I don't just need one for me. I need one for several.
It will require a little time, but it can be arranged. I can get you a supply of these documents.
Thank you, that would be perfect. And that's of course not the only reason I come.
Triple space. Oh, he smiles and gets all excited and he says, "Let me show you my etchings."
Excellent.
And excellent indeed. And what are you up to? What were you about?
To get some muscle to help clean out our new
Back.
back cave.
Oh, okay.
Because we want to use it as a potential as a place to store, but we know that there are places we can hide stuff in there too. So we may be able to, if we need a temporary place to store it, we can get it in there and hide it in a way that would easily pass cursory reviews by
Untrained eyes.
maybe last us until the train dies got there and give us time to get it out.
You know, you actually haven't You haven't been to the place in a while.
I know. We
Right.
want to go clean it out now and get it ready.
Right. Are you gonna stop by there just while you're ruminating?
Yeah.
To check out.
I think the two of us.
You're gonna take
figure out
Jeffrey with
going.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Always bring a buddy.
And you're going. So you're heading over towards the small
Yeah.
towers of Labyrinth. Okay. And Atlas.
We're gonna have to rename that.
We will.
Paradise Gardens.
We need to think of something catchy.
The large tower of Arsenal.
Prestige worldwide.
We need to think of something less
The
personal.
only tower of
But that's
Arsenal.
not valid.
Archer Daniels Midland. No.
The warehouse of
Tower of
Of
Richard.
I was going to say the tower to heaven, but
The Tower of Richard.
it's really a warehouse.
well, we are dressing it up to be fancier
House
than
of Wares.
Let no one accuse you of not being creative.
So
We'll
Atlas,
just leave it the same.
you are doing
Oh.
what Atlas?
We will
I was
ruminate.
going to Rabbit's Run to go meet with.
You're gonna try to find
Azmira.
Esmira. Okay. And
Sure, we can make something between the 5 of us. Gotta be 5, 6 of us. Gotta be something we can think of. We're not so bankrupt of dreams that we cannot name a hole in the ground in a tower.
Are you sure about that?
Out of character, that does beg the question. Are there 5 of us or 6 of us?
Did we all talk about whether or not Alexis was involved in this?
This is the part where the hand wavium comes in.
We'll have to,
And Wavium.
okay, Atlas. So you know that Esmira spends. You know that that there's places that she
Frequents.
frequents, right, in Rabbit's Run. Make a make a history roll for me.
12.
You, a 12? Okay, that's an easy. That's an easy difficulty. So you know that she hangs out at a place called the Black Jackal, which is located in Rabbit's Run, and how do you comport yourself when you go into? And it's nighttime, by the way. So how do you comport yourself? I mean, do you wear your reputation when you go out, or are you low key?
For this instance, I'd be low-key.
Okay. So make a perception roll for me.
18.
Okay, you enter the Black Jackal, and it's very busy. There's actually a rather boisterous crowd inside. There's, in addition to being a place where spirits are served, you can see that it is also a lotus den, and there are people that are. You can smell the telltale smell of some lotus. You're not really sure what it is. Do you partake in it? So since you don't partake, you don't necessarily breathe it in. But you also see that there are games going around. There's people that are playing darts, and in the corner you see a very old woman with a dagger in her hand, and she's punching the dagger between her fingers, and there's people standing around her, and you recognize this mirror.
Someone she's playing, is there someone else seated across from her that's playing against her?
Yeah.
he has 9 fingers.
Good old
Try to
10
put it back.
fingers. Why do they call him 10 fingers? Because he's only got 4 fingers.
It's like when you nickname somebody tiny and they're like 7 foot tall.
Yeah, the irony.
I'll make my way over there.
And you see, this goes on for some time, and people are chuckling and laughing. And
Gonna get it now. Gonna get it now. You've been watching. You're gonna lose it. You're an idiot.
Definitely a stabbing on the way.
Hashtag
I'll wait.
stabby.
I'll wait till you finish.
and eventually they stop. She collects money from this other guy who's sitting across from her. Who's as she's doing this, his face is draining of color, and he looks, humiliated because his old lady is obviously beating him.
Kicking his ass.
And when it's done, people cheer, and she takes a pull off of a flag, and she looks at you, and you see a look of recognition. Atlas, sweetheart, sit down.
You have a few minutes for an old
Oh,
friend?
you can trust her.
Always. Just let me know what's in it for me.
Usual.
What brings you out of the heights of Old Town? We're not used to seeing you here amongst the common folk in Rabbit's Run. I heard you had a little run-in with some dirty, nasty beggars.
I was trying to.
What's the matter, sweetheart? Can't touch your tongue?
No, I was just trying to look into that nasty business of what happened to Ralto. Still haven't gotten to the bottom of that.
Poor fella. He should be dead for any number of reasons, but not that way.
He didn't deserve to go like that.
I agree. Absent friends. So what brings you to see me, Atlas dear? Not taking me up on that offer after all these years. I don't think the equipment's working like it used to.
His or hers? He's still
Yeah.
got the string, so we know.
Look, I mean, there's obviously just people around.
But people have gone. I mean, she actually after a round of pleasantries, she gives them a Nancy Pelosi look, and they all disappear.
I like that.
So we've got some,
I like that.
some privacy.
Except for some very discreetly placed.
Some of her guys.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, a girl can dream, or you can. What's on your mind?
What about the treasure house of the lictors? Did she spit out of her cup?
No, but you can see that you got her attention. Well, that is an interesting turn of events.
How so?
I hear someone else is interested in the treasure house. So, where were you? So the first thing you were gonna head over towards. We're gonna come over to Arslan and Kepri, who have gone back to Old Town to check out the former small tower which you have moved into. And correct me if I'm wrong. You had ordered a door to be made. Okay.
Fine door.
Right.
With a lock.
A fine door with
strong
a
lock.
sturdy lock.
The finest of doors.
Right, which you have.
I don't see why I have to carry the
I
door.
need to check.
No, you don't have it with you. Well, the door's already in place, actually.
I need to check the key, of course.
Of course.
So we'll check the key. This has been here unguarded long enough. I'm sure there's multiple copies of this key around by now. So
Yeah, that's fair.
No doubt.
that'll have to be
I'll
done
fix
once
that.
we're in. Yes.
Make a hard dex check. Roll a d20 and add your dex bonus. It's hard. It's a new lock.
20.
Well, see, everything gives way before the person's best, and that's what you needed was 20. So, but you're fussing with it for a bit. The lighting is very poor. Do you have a light source?
I would think I'd be carrying like a.
Has the lock been changed after the door went up?
Make
Tampered with?
Make a perception.
25.
It doesn't. I mean, it looks like.
Or just damaged?
Doesn't look like there's anything. It doesn't look like you don't get any sense that it's been tampered with. I mean, it could. By all it appears to be like a really tough lock.
It's just not the
So what's
brand
the
new
verdict? Do
lock
we
of
need
brand
to
new
worry about blades in the dark the moment we open
It's
the
not
door?
unknown. It's not unknown for a new lock, to be particularly hard. It's
I
probably a
don't
good
know
thing.
yet.
It's good to know. It's good to know that we don't know.
Can I get it unlocked?
You do.
Okay, you do. Okay.
Yeah, you opened it. It was difficult, but you do open it.
I'm gonna take my Chris out just in case before we open it.
I got the lamp.
And there's a
Yeah.
you hear like a little right.
Get rid of those too.
I got the lamp.
Do you have a lamp?
I have a little lamp, little oil lamp here. Figure I'd have a little something.
Don't take the genie out yet.
Uh-huh.
We have one of those, why don't we just use that?
And we'll step to the side and we'll open the door and let it kind of hopefully it doesn't squeak because it's a new door.
Yeah. I mean it does, but it's a
Is there light inside or is it dark?
pitch black. Pitch black.
Do you want me to walk in first?
Sure.
Make a perception.
You have the lamp.
Both of you make a perception.
Oh boy.
I have the lamp.
16.
Yeah, but my...
No, 15. Sorry.
I have a 15 as well. Well,
You both get the distinct impression that there's somebody here. Outside with you.
Oh, I'll turn around and look around.
But I mean it's pitch black, it's outside. Well yeah, you turn around, but you get a sense that you're not alone, right?
shall we go in? You feel that as well?
Yeah, go in and close the door behind us. Is there someone coming up hard on us?
I mean you don't see anybody, you're outside. You get the feeling that I'm not telling you what to do. But
I'm gonna put my blade out between me and the dark.
so are you outside or inside?
There's a little inside.
You went inside.
Yeah,
like
we were at the door. We were at the doorway. I was holding the lamp. He's fiddling with the lock, and I'm like, "Do we have to worry about being stabbed? No, we don't know yet. Okay, that's good. No, we don't know that we know yet." Opens the door, and then we presumably go inside after getting a little.
Well, what I'm saying is that before that though is when you get the sense that you're being. So I'm saying you open the lock, click.
Then I would rather turn around and see if there's somebody there before I step in.
Yeah.
Same.
With blades out though.
Right. Make another perception roll.
Show yourself. 15.
11. It would be wise if you wish to see the sun's warm rays again. We are not playing around, he says in the most nonchalant voice he can.
And a figure steps out.
Oh boy.
Well,
I would speak with you about the treasure house of the Lictors. And that's where we'll stop.
Oh my god.
Don't stop again.
Yeah, almost not even.
Except to give you guys experience.
Yes.
So just for the better edification, when we started, I had everybody start off at 3rd level because I wanted to give everybody a little extra opportunity for their characters to have some skills.
established.
Right, be a little established. The exception was Mike's character Atlas, who has been playing in Vadishar these many years, or who played with me in the original Vadishar campaign. So I'm going to let everyone know that you have all elevated to the 4th level, and you're all halfway to the next point
Okay.
where,
Level and a half.
yeah.
Level and a half. Nice. Okay.
Congratulations, you guys and lady have done
Oh yeah.
fantastic.
I know
I
what I'm
appreciate it.
doing.
And also, Kepri,
I thought he was cheap with experience. That wasn't so bad.
Kyle, you had earned an insight from a couple of weeks back, an insight check because of the
The fight pit and how.
right at the fight pit when the blue political party showed up. You kind of got the sense that they were probably there because Anna and Godrigo had, or rather Sabine had alerted Godrigo to that there might be some trouble brewing. So your insight gives you that for your future use.
Well, thank you.
We will see you next week. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate it, and we'll have those of you who are on, who are following us on Patreon. We'll have more things or our notes for this week on there already on Patreon. There'll be more goodies coming out, including background on NPCs, on the city, and the like. And if you have any questions, please, we appreciate all the comments and everything. Merry, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. We'll see you before the New Year.
Happy Yule.
Happy Yule.
Happy Yule.
A Festivus for the rest of us.
Happy Saturnalia.
Nice.